Welcome to Drinks without Barry. We successfully got Barry running this week. More to the point, back together enough that we could drive him back to the dealership yesterday so he could start his transformation and upgrades that he needs from there. So we'll give more detail on what all that meant. But yesterday was a nice trip.
It was.
I'm
going to drink to yesterday.
Cheers. Well, it was a nice trip for me. Obviously, she had to follow as I drove Barry, so I got to have the leisurely drive across the bay, just cruising in Barry, where she had to be in traffic yelling and arguing with people as I used rule of gross tonnage to push my way through. It was nice. So anyways, the week for me, I replaced most of the rubber on the motor, except for the top radiator hose. That's some weird, I've got to reach hard, far into a cavern to find the upper hose clamp, and I said, oh, forget this. I didn't have to. The week for us has been chaos of work. The weather's been terrible. It's a beautiful day today, but we've had a couple really nasty rainy days. We just couldn't work on them at all, and you haven't really been here.
Yeah, I took another house sitting gig just to earn extra money for Barry and his upgrades. So I have done absolutely nothing on Barry this week.
I kept hearing, I'm gonna come over tonight and I'll paint a little.
So we got rained out a couple nights.
It doesn't rain on the inside, right?
The dogs that I'm house sitting for, one of
wow.
them is very scared of thunderstorms, and he doesn't like to be left, or she doesn't like to be left alone. So I didn't come home and, snuggled with the puppy.
Technicalities.
Yeah. So when Barry comes back, then I have to finish the hallway with the white paint and then put on the real paint that we're gonna have.
Yay!
Woo!
So this is going to be, instead of drinks with Barry, this is drinks with birds, as all the birds are over us, hanging out.
Nature.
Jumping in. The new differential cover did not arrive. It's supposed to be next week, unfortunately. So I threw the old steel cover back on, and because I knew I'm going to switch out to that new, beautiful, machined aluminum heat sink diff cover, I just got some El Cheapo differential gear oil to throw in there because I got suckered into the propaganda of buying the silly expensive synthetic diff lube, but I wasn't going to swap that out because that stuff it's weight in gold basically is what they bill you for. So I got some cheap stuff, fill the diff with that, and I figured, you know what, we're going to be just flushing out the house, and that's all it is. I'm putting the cheap stuff in, driving it there, bringing it back just to clean it all out. After that was basically everything went back on the ground, ready to go, minus the one of my best pearls of wisdom to save your marriage if you ever do any works on brakes is to get, if you're going to be frugal like I am, speed bleeders.
Men, write this down.
There are better systems out there. There are those pressure pumps where you don't know, I took the whole brake system apart. So I'll put all new brake lines on. That means there's air in the lines. Air is compressible. So when you hit the brake pedal, you don't squeeze the brake pads, you squeeze the air, meaning you have no brakes. And in a big RV, that doesn't end well. You end up in someone's living room, in your living room.
That's a bad day.
That's a bad day. Rule of gross tonnage, I'm coming through. So you have to get all the air out. So we got to bleed all of the lines, get all the air out of them. And there's the really nice way, but that's a lot of money, a couple $100, is you get that pressure system that pushes the brake fluid all the way through the system, and that's a really nice setup. I'm too cheap for that. And
I'm a fan of the speed bleeders. First time using them.
Speed bleeders is great.
Because the alternative is...
We've done a lot because we maybe at some point are going to have to do a show on Jeep, I think.
Yeah.
You'll see what Jeep is. Sort of a sneak peek. I have a custom-built Grand Cherokee with a Toyota Supra engine in it. It's coming with us for the trip. It's a bit silly, crazy. but there's a lot of evolution of brakes on it, and it began initially with the traditional brake method, which is someone sits in the car, pushes the brake pedal, holds the brake pedal, they yell holding, then I on the outside have the wrench. I open the little valve that bleeds out at each corner, I open it up, and then she yells stop, and I have to close it because you have to keep pressure going through it. You can't let the pedal bottom. It's a nightmare,
but it's very good for communication skills in a relationship.
It's a very good skill in cursing each other out, because it's just like, what are you saying? No, I didn't hear you. You're saying the wrong thing. You're saying too much. What? I can't hear you. And you start yelling at each other, getting really, because it takes, with the speed bleeders, it still takes about 10 minutes to do. The speed bleeders have a valve built into them, so all she has to do is sit there and pump the pedal, and I run around like a lunatic, cracking each one open, let it squirt a little bit, close it, run to the next one around. I go a few times, make sure all's well.
It's a good leg workout. You do half of it with your left leg and half of it with your right leg. And you dance a little too.
Yes, I do.
I do too.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, so you couldn't see me in the RV.
I knew you're doing it wrong. But see, that's what the conversation usually boils down to, is you're yelling at each other with the traditional method of, because you have to have coordination, because if you get it wrong, you have to start all over. But the speed bleeders, they say you can do it by yourself, but it's nice to have someone else help you.
Let me tell you, there's nothing worse than being almost done, and then you mess it up, and you have to start the process all over again.
This is one thing, if you get it wrong, you have air in your lines, you don't have brakes.
That's not good.
Yeah, so.
But speed bleeders.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Best.
They are, speed bleeders are. Barry will be the second vehicle I've had speed bleeders on, and I am sold on. We have them on the Jeep because I kept, after the second iteration of us doing the traditional bleed method, and I said, hey, there's this other technology, and I don't even know that I got that sentence out completely. She went, buy it, just buy it, I'm done. I'm like, okay, so I'm buying that.
It was an early birthday present this time with Barry. Baby, I got you speed bleeders.
Do you have anything else?
Yeah, so the reason Barry went back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When we bought Barry, he did not have an awning in place. So we worked it out with them that, we take him home that day, and then they would order an awning for us, and then when it came in, we would return Barry. And, well, right now he's getting his new awning put on. And we're getting the jacks kind of tuned up as well for the leveling system.
You're getting those hydraulics, silly things, but yeah, we want those to be looked at.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because it'd be nice we want to have the awning because we wanted to be outdoors with them.
Yeah.
So we want to have the nice full-size awning on it, and
that's the point of RVing.
Yeah.
Getting out in nature, hanging out outside, talking to your neighbors, and
this is a nice one. It's got a metal shield on the top bit of it, so in case some idiot who's driving it is not paying attention and runs it under a tree, it doesn't tear off or tear holes in your awning. There's actually a metal shield that protects it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty genius.
Otherwise, her dad came over to check out Barry, because everyone's slowly starting to come over to get first-hand look and feel of Barry. And he looked around, he made a really good suggestion, saying that all of the equipment on Barry was in an era when we were not running ethanol in our fuel. And all fuel today has at least 10% ethanol in it. And he said, that ethanol is probably going to cause havoc for that generator. And I thought about it, I thought, oh, no kidding, it probably will. And he said, just throw some Sta-bil in it. And Sta-bil is a fuel additive that every time you fill up, you throw in, there's a little bit of Sta-bil. And it actually helps prevent the ethanol that's in the fuel from attacking your rubber lines, carburetors, things like that. So, the generator's rubber lines and carbureted. So it was I was like, that's a no-brainer, because it prevents this from gumming up or destroying a carb. That's well worth it.
Yep.
The thing I'm most excited about, okay, so speed bleeders were awesome.
Yes.
That was good. But the thing I'm really excited about, there's something I forgot to mention before I get into my excitement. Last weekend, we had a travesty. Kind of. She's working. We're working on it like Sunday or something like that. And AC shuts down on it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We had no air conditioning.
I blocked it out.
I'm like, the whole coach is dead. I'm thinking, well, that's strange. I checked the 12-volt converter, which is when it's plugged into the shore, it has 120 volts into the coach. This thing converts 120 volt to 12 volt to charge the house batteries, and B, supplied 12 volts to the whole coach. Well, that had given up the ghost. Our house batteries had then died, so we had no 12 volt power in the coach, thus, and the AC controllers are run by 12 volt, so no ACs. Fortunately, was able to take that apart. Fortunately, unfortunately, because we got Barry thinking we're going to put solar panels on it because we want to be able to have solar to minimize running the generator, because most of Barry is 12 volts. So this was kind of like a fortuitous moment of let's see what the state is. Fortunately, unfortunately, I was able to find the problem with the converter, took it apart, found the component that failed on the circuit board, soldered in a new one. We're back in business. Because that was kind of the time of let's just throw this thing away and we'll buy the big solar charger converter. Also, it has an inverter built into it, and then everything's taken care of for us.
Which would have been pretty cool.
That would have been cool. And this is probably still going to come. We did also discover that one of our house batteries was bad. And when one goes bad, it usually takes the other one with it unless you catch it immediately. We have no idea when it could have gone bad because we've been on shore power the whole time. So the converter has been supplying 12 volts to the whole coach. So we had to replace the house batteries. All's well, all's running now. I'm looking to, when we get Barry back from the dealership, we're going to go weigh them and see how much weight I have available, because what I'd like to do is put in a big battery bank to extend our ability of just solar array charging the house batteries. That then gives us 12 volts to run the coach, and also we can run an inverter to power laptops, computers, anything else we need. So we'll see. Those are future updates coming. But the thing I'm most excited about this week,
and I'm excited for you,
which concludes those notes, is Barry is a 30 amp coach, meaning when it plugs in, it only takes 30 amp power. That means you can only run one AC unit at a time.
So if we're in the desert, that's going to be miserable.
Now, if you run the generator, you can run both AC units. But when plugged in somewhere, you can only run one AC unit at full tilt boogie at any given time. The problem is, with one running, when the second one goes to start, the two together, the starting current of the one and the running current of the other, exceeds 30 amps. But looking into it, I discovered when both are running, it's less than 30 amps. So what I did is I got two big old capacitors, and I wired it in.
Were they flux capacitors?
No, I couldn't afford the flux capacitor. Barry, I don't know that I want to hit 88 miles an hour in Barry anyways. But I got two big old capacitors, wired them into AC unit, and basically what they are, they work as, think of it as like a fuel tank. So they, as the system's running, they're sucking up electricity and storing it. So when the second unit goes to kick on, it yanks all the current it needs from that capacitor instead of pulling it from the shore power. So that, my theory was that'd be enough current in there to get the AC unit running. Once it's running, it can then run off the regular shore power. It worked. So initial test, I tried it out initially as it sits there, turned them both on, you couldn't do it. The other one, there's a control panel that turns off, if you're beyond your current capacity, it shuts down the rear AC unit. You could not get the rear AC turned on. It constantly went, no, you don't have enough power, and it goes into this weird mode. Putting the capacitors in then, I went back inside, flipped them both on, second one fired up. That's my little geekiness there. I'm happy that we got that working.
I'm happy that he's happy.
Well, in Florida heat, or wherever we're going to be out in the heat, it's really nice to have the second AC running, because it's amazing how fast it can cool off the coach with both of them running.
Oh yeah.
So if you're electrically inclined, add an additional capacitor. I can give details later if those interested, but be careful because you can electrocute yourself really well with a capacitor, and I mean like dead. Spiked haired, sizzling brain dead.
That's bad.
Yeah, so be careful, but that is kind of interesting. It worked out brilliantly with ours, that we were able to add two big capacitors in line with the power system, and it was able to get the second unit running. That's all.
That's all. So another busy week with Barry, except on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as busy I would have liked on my end, but
Still got a lot done.
we hope Barry will be back next week.
Fingers crossed, but
We don't know. They're scheduled to start working on him Tuesday. Hopefully,
wait, double fingers.
Hopefully that actually happens. RV World seems to be like Marine World, which is they'll get to it when they get to it, and it'll.
Yeah.
So we're already missing. It's been one day, and we're already missing Barry. Hoping to get him back because we think we found the teak flooring.
Yes.
We think we have found the teak flooring.
Yep.
More to come on that. After we dropped off Barry,
He took me on the best date ever. Women, be jealous.
I'm a romantic. I took her to a marine salvage yard.
Yeah, that's right. What's up?
Yeah. That's right.
It was I can't even find the words to describe what it is. It's basically part of it's a boat graveyard. Kind of depressing, but lots of dead boats. Anything that you can think of that would be on a boat at any point in time in any decade is in this salvage yard.
And most of it's just a grassy field. So you're working your way through the grassy field, looking at the ground, at motors,
props, but
masts.
It's amazing. I mean, you go in there and you look, and like you said, there's all these masts, different sizes. There's all these props. I mean, some of them are bigger than what I can do, and they're like $7,000. It's phenomenal.
So, but had some good ideas.
Yep.
I think we got a good line now to do teak flooring in Barry. So that'll be things to come, hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So hopefully next week you'll see Barry. We'll once again be Drinks with Barry. Again, as always, any questions, please feel free to ask.
Subscribe below too so you don't ever miss Drinks with Barry or Drinks Without Barry.
Or Drinks with Jeep coming soon.
Oh yeah, Drinks with Jeep. That's going to be awesome. All right, bye.
Bye.